Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have a very interesting topic at hand, and it's to do with a new ban which some people are suffering on the Steam community for Avowed. This is quite impressive, and we have screenshots of this, which is even more crazy. So check this one out. This came from the Avowed Steam community forums. Funny how they think that they can still afford banning people when their game fails so hard. Let's read what this person has said and why were they banned. So, the ban reason for this user was found engaging in anti-DEI practices. That's right guys, this is crazy. Anti-DEI practices, which is not tolerated on this forum. So what has this person said which is anti-DEI? Well, let's just check it out. So he says the following: the vast majority of the characters in position of power and authority are female. Yeah, that's actually quite true in the game. Men are all some variations of incompetent, corrupt, or evil, though they can get a pass if they have a unique identity or some description like racial or sexuality. That is the more subtle brand of woke storytelling based on intersectional hierarchy. Writers attempted this variety more often after overpreaching failed. The classic recent example of this type of woke was Starfield. In that game, you could immediately tell a character's intention and their role in the subplot by their place in that hierarchy. If you encountered a young female Asian leader, then you can trust her 100%. She is competent, incorruptible, and essentially flawless. If you encountered an older white man, then it doesn't matter how nice he seems, he's either got some huge character flaw that the quest will require to clean up, or he will simply be revealed to be the villain of the subplot. So just because in this comments he talked about how characters are used in a very obvious ways in video games, they got banned from the Avowed forum by the moderators. And this ban basically confirms this person's critique, because he was banned because he was pointing out the reality. If these people didn't care because they would believe that they're not like that, then they wouldn't ban this person. But the simple fact that they banned this person because of this comment clearly means something quite obvious. They are guilty of doing the same thing in their game. Otherwise, why would you ban someone? You're trying to hide this. You're trying to hide this conversation from people. And man, I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, have we reached a point now where you are even forbidden from criticizing a game, giving it honest feedback? Because this person was not saying that the games are, I don't know, terrible or racist or whatever. They were just saying that these types of games have very identifiable, I would say, structures in which they put certain character races in certain positions on purpose. And it's happened, and we've seen it many times. But guys, this again is an example how these sort of games, which were developed during the Biden administration, remember, these games received a ton of funding from government agencies. I mean, it's crazy, right? And this is why it's happening. So these companies are still full of these activists, and until these activists are actively removed from the company, they will continue and they will try to push their agenda and silence people for literally questioning their decisions. I mean, that's it. If you are so afraid of a gamer that you want to ban them from your game and from your community, that means something's rotten. Something's really rotten, because if you are 100% transparent, 100% fair, 100% true, right, then you wouldn't care, because you would know that, your product is literally honest and good. But because you're banning people actively on this subject, that means that you are literally afraid because they are saying some sort of truth. That's the problem we have right now. In addition to this, we also had some information that Avowed was played by approximately 6 million players in the first month. Now this includes PC and Steam, so PC on the PC, so from the Xbox Game Pass and Steam. Now, if we effectively remove the actual Steam players, which, as you can imagine, they're like I don't know, maybe like 500,000 players who bought the game maximum, right? Then we have around 5 million players. Now, 5 million players. How many Game Pass players we have on PC? Most likely we have quite a lot. I mean, the total number is 35 or 36 million between PC and Xbox, so maybe for PC only, maybe it's 20 million or something, or I know, maybe 25 million approximately, who knows, right? But from these people, only 5 point something million play the game, so that's literally about 20, maybe 25%. So people who pay for Game Pass, who barely get any proper games, they get this new game, this shiny new game, and then only maybe a quarter of them actually plays the game. I mean, that's questionable. I mean, that's not a big success. That's problematic. That's really problematic, because other games get to be played by the majority of people, but somehow other games are not. So when you see this, you clearly see that the population of gamers who pay for this every single month, for some reason, they don't want to play the game. Only a small percentage of them. Now, you could argue that this is because maybe their graphics card is not up to snuff, but if you're a PC gamer and you pay for the Game Pass, most likely you have a decent graphics card, because otherwise you would not be paying for it, because the games on Game Pass need at least an, I know, I mean a good GTX or a RTX 270 or 280, so they need some sort of graphics card, otherwise it's pretty much pointless, right? I mean, you cannot play most of the games on the Game Pass if you have a shitty graphics card. So again, that argument doesn't make any sense. So effectively we have a bunch of people who are not playing the game, decide to not play the game because they don't care about the game. A brand new game in the first month. If only 25 approximately of PC gamers from the Game Pass played the game, more or less, based on the math and approximations, right? What does this mean for the game? Well, in the second or third or fourth month, maybe less than 10% or even 5% are going to play the game. And that tells you something quite concerning for the future of this company, because on the Game Pass, they're not making much of a profit. I'm very sorry, but that's the truth. I mean, we all know the fact that games on the Game Pass, the margin of profit for Microsoft is extremely small. If the game is not selling on Steam either and on PlayStation either, well, guess what? I mean, that means that this game is going to suffer greatly. That is a big problem. So guys, that's it for today's video on this topic. To be honest, it's quite shameful and sad, and I would say quite disappointing that this company is banning people from literally commenting about these trends that we are all seeing that in our faces, about how they put certain races of characters in certain positions in the games, and usually the white guys are the bad dudes. We've seen this a lot, or they have some problems, or they're, I don't know, they have lots of issues, or they're like, I don't know, they're just crazy or something, but it's always the same case, right? It's almost like they have a vendetta against the white dudes in the video games, and we've seen this many times, and now it's pretty obvious, right? So guys, that's it for today's video on this one. I hope that you got entertained by this hilarious thing, and of course, remember, support the games you want to support with your wallet. That's the most important thing, and we saw the change that the industry has suffered across the last year. We saw that many Western companies which try to push their agenda got rejected by gamers, and Asian companies got supported by gamers. For example, I know, I mean, just to give you one example, Shift Up, right? They had massive profits with Stellar Blade and Nikke. Then we have the creators of Black Myth Wukong, Game Science. They made tons of profits. So again, this goes to show that what gamers really want is games which do not engage with this silly, obvious politics, which is trying to basically pretend that they're inclusive, but then they actually just want to show that the white dudes are the bad or evil guys in the video games. And honestly, people are now getting pretty tired of this rinse and repeat tactic that these companies are using. So guys, that's it for today's video. As always, I shall see you in the next uploads. Have fun and see you later in the next videos.